Alright, welcome to match number 3. We won the die roll. We have a hand that I think I'm going to keep. Has a lot of the things I like doing. It's even got a Blood Moon, which might be good and might be garbage. Main deck Blood Moon. Just the one. Just the Miser's one. So I'm actually kind of interested in fetching a basic Swamp here and then casting Inquisition off of that. Because we want to fetch a basic Swamp at some point for Blood Moon, and we might want to fetch like a Sacred Foundry with this one to be able to cast the Lingering Souls before the Blood Moon. We do have the Faithless Looting actually, so we don't need to do that. So we can get like a Blood Crypt now, and then a basic Swamp later. Now we get to find out what our opponent's on. Opponent is on Affinity. Blood Moon is okay against Affinity. He has Signal Pest, Vault Scourge. Hand seems pretty bad, actually. If I just take a Vault Scourge and he's just playing like a Signal Pest a turn. Got Inkmoth Nexus. Blood Moon turns off all his lands. We've got Lingering Souls. Okay, I think I'll take the Vault Scourge. Will I? Huh, maybe I'll take a Signal Pest. Vault Scourge is a pretty... No, I'll take Vault Scourge. The scariest with like cranial plating. His hand seems pretty weak. I guess it's like low end of keepable though, right? Like. Okay, plays a Citadel, plays a Signal Pest, says go. Second Faithless Looting. So we're probably going to try and fetch tapped with this. Oh no, we're probably going to try and fetch a basic Swamp with this, and then terminate the Signal Pest. Or, if he plays something scarier, like an Arcbound Ravager, we'll terminate that. Plays the Nexus, plays the second Signal Pest. I'm not even sure we're interested in terminating the Signal Pests. Sure, they're kind of scary altogether, but we have this Blood Moon to turn off this, and we have this Faithless, this Lingering Souls that makes them just look terrible. Any land is good, but a land unless we play a white spell is better. Okay, let's looting. Trying to find our third land. Having some potential lag issue? I'm not quite sure. Okay, found our third land and our fourth land. We'll discard this Lingering Souls. And probably the fourth land. I'm not really interested in it. Yeah. So we can play Blackleaf Cliffs. Fetch a basic Swamp. Play Lingering Souls from the graveyard. And now we're in a reasonable position, I think. I only have 2 spells in the graveyard, so Bedlam Rebel is not great. But Blood Moon looks okay. Opponent has 3 unknowns? Yeah, he said turn 3 to 3 draw steps. Blood Moon looking okay. Mainly because it turns off the Nexi. Not really interested in turning off his ability to pay mana for anything. Although it's pretty good against him if he has... what is the name? If he's playing the blue splash. Or like the blue version of Affinity that like plays that other stuff. Okay. That seems not a favourite. But beatable. Let's just play Blood Moon. And then hold these spirits back. So is this still indestructible? I thought it was, but... Maybe it's not. It does also make equipping cranial plating at instant speed pretty impossible for our opponent. Good old Blood Moon. What a fair and balanced card. What fun magic it makes. I am going to block both of these. I think. Currently basically impossible to take off of Metalcraft if they play a Edge champion, although they didn't, so that's pretty good for us. I think I'm interested in looting. Discard a land. Not a land. I think that we can afford to play this relatively slowly now. Okay, opponent has actual stone nothing. So now I'm 100% interested in playing faster. But 1, 2, 3, 4. So this guy costs 4 mana. We can bolt our opponent end of turn if we want to, because he'll have to terminate. Okay, opponent plays Springleaf Drum. Blood Moon has been really good against our opponent's draw. I'm not sure it's always as good as this good against Affinity, but I'm just gonna bolt our opponent and then draw a bunch of new cards with Bedlam Reveler. Huh. 2, 3, 4, 5. We can just play Bedlam Reveler, or we can like slow down. Not slow down, but we can just like play the bolt because we don't have another thing. We can play bolt and like hold up terminate. I don't draw a Mox Opal. I'm drawing really badly. Mox Opal's not bad though. It seems so weird to our opponent. We're just throwing bolts at him. Like, what? But yeah, Bedlam Reveler. Discard these 2 cards. One of which I can't cast. One of which I don't want. Play Cliffs. Ooh, okay. So this rule is in effect. This rule has changed. Inquisition our opponent. Aspire, which we knew about. Why did I cast Inquisition? I guess it doesn't matter. Could have Inquisitioned ourselves. Put Lingering Souls in the bin. We should have just not cast the Inquisition. That was just bad. Should have either held it for prowess triggers or held it to do other things with. Okay, opponent has a Steel Overseer. Which could potentially get out of hand. So we're kind of hoping to draw another removal spell that's not Lightning Helix. With Faithless Looting. That's not Lightning Helix. Bedlam Reveler, Lingering Souls, Match Made in Heaven, Faithless Looting. Cards. What cards? Opponent plays a second Cranial Plating. I feel like I actually would have probably lost this game if it wasn't for the Blood Moon, because they have so many. They have like. I haven't drawn a Collingon's Command, and they have all these Cranial Platings. I do feel like I'm just hoping to dodge the. Ooh. That's pretty good. The second Reveler is just mean. Just mean. Oof. Let's see how our opponent ever wins now. I guess again, Edge Champion. No, Edge Champion still they die because I just hit them with one or the other Bedlam Reveler. Okay, Pithing Needle is good here. Wear Tear is good here. Blood Moon seemed okay, but not that impressive. Fatal Push is good here. I'm actually that excited about Blood Moon. Dreadbore is not so good. We're happy to draw it, but I'm not very excited about it going forward. I don't really want Swift Spear. Forked Bolt seems good against them. Thoughtseize and Inquisition both seem worse. Thoughtseize especially. And then if we cut Inquisition... Do we want to keep in one Blood Moon? I guess we do. I don't really want too much of it. Like, it was good there, but I can also see lots of draws where it's not good, so I don't really want to load up on it and become a Blood Moon deck post-board. Especially because it does make our mana harder, especially if we're bringing in things like Wear Tear. Obviously, we're probably not casting the white half of this, so we're just bringing it in for the Destroy Target Artifact effect, but still. I just feel like we can just be a removal deck that just kills everything they play, and then eventually they die. And because we have so many ways of destroying artifacts now, we can still destroy Edge Champion. Which is the way that we lose, the way that the removal deck loses to Affinity. Inquisition is also a good answer to Edge Champion, but I just don't think it's that good of a plan. Like, it's such a bad draw later, as we saw when I wasted it. I don't know. I feel like this matchup against Affinity should be very good. So, let's just play it and see. We've seen Blood Moon a lot. Card's pretty strong. I think the card is actually reasonable right now in Modern. There's a lot of stuff that it turns off. But it's also this weird card where it gets put in sideboards a lot, and then I look at the deck and I'm like, why are you... Like, what part of your plan does Blood Moon play into? And the answer is, like, almost certainly, like, none of it. I just want to get people. I want to get, like, a free game 2 after winning game 1, because my opponent isn't expecting Blood Moon, doesn't play around it, and then gets Blood Mooned. And I can't help but feel that that's, like, a fundamentally weak strategy. That, like, you're basically relying on your opponent to not be thinking about what you could be doing, which is fundamentally means your opponent will be, like, a weaker opponent. Like, I guess there's, like, certain levels to it. Like, if my opponent is stronger, and they assume I am stronger, they will think that I will not have Blood Moon, so will not prepare for it, but I've next leveled them by actually having Blood Moon and bringing it in. So, you know, you're a level above. But I feel like you just get lost in that, because then you're like, okay, but then they know the level I'm at, which is bringing in Blood Moon, so they prepare for Blood Moon. And obviously, like, the thing is that to prepare for Blood Moon, you don't actually have to... In a lot of decks, you don't actually have to do that much. You just have to, like, fetch your basics. And decks that can't beat Blood Moon, like, sure, yeah, Blood Moon's just great against them, but there's no leveling there. I'm talking more about, like, Eldrazi-tron, when you're not a particularly fast deck, and you're bringing in Blood Moon, and theoretically it's okay, but then also they just, like, fetch your wastes, and then play a Thought-Knot Seer on turn 4, and, yeah, when you're not playing a Blood Moon faster than, like, turn 3, and I've seen Storm do it, but it's a very odd strategy for me. I don't see any advantage to it other than just getting people. Which I think is, like, a fundamentally not long-term strategy. I don't think you can, like, do that in a lot. Opponent really, really thinking about whether or not to play first with Affinity. A deck much better on the draw than on the play. All my Affinity opponents, if you could take the draw, that is the secret tech. That is how you beat me. The extra card is just worth so much more than you'd think. You should definitely take the draw when playing against me and you're playing Affinity. Everyone else, though, can't leverage that. You know, everyone else can't really leverage their card well enough. That's what it is. Yeah, they can't leverage their card well enough. So you should take the play against them and the draw against me. Opponent took quite a long time sideboarding as well. Wonder if they are doing something else. Affinity's not quite the stereotypical, you know, you can play this deck with one hand while eating lunch with the other deck. There's maths in Affinity. You've got to add up numbers and figure out how much damage you can do to them and how much poison you can inflict on them and all that sort of stuff. Is the old TF2 joke. If you bind walk to mouse 1, then you can play Pyro while eating lunch. Affinity's not quite like that. Boggle is a bit like that. Boggles with one hand, sandwich in the other. Ready to go. Still crushing, because people were not expecting Boggles. There's only so much airtime I can fill. I mean, normally I would be ecstatic at my opponent disconnecting. I'd go watch a YouTube video about poker and listen to the same song I've been listening to for the past 5 hours. It'd be a really good time. And then I'd get some free ticks at the end of it. But in this scenario, because I'm recording a video, I'm kind of less excited to be sitting here having to fill dead air caused by my opponent. I understand that like people are busy and they owe me nothing, and this isn't actually like I'm not really condemning them. I'm just irritated at general situation. Especially because these games could be over pretty quickly, right? Like, this isn't going to be one of the long matches. That last one, the first one as well, we had to really struggle against, you know, especially game 1, we had to fight our way through a bunch of, like, weird stuff from 4-color humans, and a bunch of Kitesail freebooters, and Thalias, and all that sort of stuff, and whew! Like, that one was a longie. And then blue-white control. Those games always take ages, and then I refuse to concede when I should, and whew! And then, like, Affinity? That one's not going to be one of the long ones. That's not one of the matches that's going to take ages. I mean, I guess this hand is fine. Our first play is like this. But... ah! Saved. We have Blood Moon for these. So... Pithing Needle is going to hit Cranial Plating or Arcbound Ravager, depending on which one he plays. This point needs to fetch a basic swamp. Colgan's Command is probably going to be pretty good, as indeed it always is against Affinity. Turns out Shock Shatter is a good combination of cards to play when you're facing the Robot Menace. Opponent can play a Etch Champion, which would be the worst scenario for us. Cranial Plating. Arcbound Ravager. Even Steel Overseer, actually, would be fine. I'm just going to take the 1 from this. I don't think I'm particularly worried about like using the Burst Lightning efficiently. I don't think I'm going to lose this game on tempo. Especially because, unless I draw a 2-mana removal spell, I can just play Pith Needle and Burst Lightning in the same turn. God, this card's so weird. This is what I'm sort of talking about, where I always feel like it's half of a good card in these matchups. I guess, what am I most scared of if I do... I guess it's Cranial Plating. I guess that is actually the scariest. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's Arcbound Ravager. Maybe I can just, like, pip the Arcbound Ravager. Ooh, wait, no, this is good. I can... Because what I can do is... He wakes up his Arcbound... Like, if I play the Pith Needle, he's incentivized to sack the Arcbound Ravager, and then I can Burst Lightning whatever he sacks the counters onto. Yeah, that sounds like the strongest play. But only has 2 cards left. Okay. Fetch our basic swamp. Play Pithing. Cranial Plating is less worrying because we have the Colligan's Command. I think. It's still kind of a worrying card to a degree. Playing this Bedlam Mardu is going to take ages. If he does just let us name Arcbound Ravager, then I'm actually interested in... That implies to me he might actually have a cranial plating in hand. Maybe he just sees the line. I think we still name Arcbound Ravager. So many Arcbound cards. Jesus. Because now... I think it's such a beating. So many Nexi. Should have named Plating, I think. Yeah, I should have just named Plating. My logic was just bad. Should just name Plating. Hopefully that doesn't block us again. We could slam Blood Moon, but I think we take way too much damage if we just slam Blood Moon. Opponent cannily recognizing that Colligan's Command killing this is bad for him. So we're probably going to end up like Shatter Shocking this way. Because we're not really interested in going after the lands. That's okay for us. Okay, now we're going to Shatter Shock this way. And then we're going to slam Blood Moon, and opponent's going to have not a huge amount of things to be doing. Destroy Cranial Plating, 2 damage to Overseer. We take 2. Play Blood Moon. I'm not even really interested in playing the land. And Faithful Suiting, because it's just mill 2. Okay, opponent hits us for 2 again. We'd really like to find an answer for... Oh! What was that about answers for Signal Pest? Pretty good answers. Looting. Just kind of Foundry. Pyromancer doesn't even seem that good. I guess maybe the Bedlam Reveler is worse. We're so far off casting it. Are we though? I don't think we're that far off actually. We can discard the Pyromancer. Because yeah, we can recast Looting, and more stuff, and put more stuff in the graveyard. Brief second, I thought we couldn't cast this Colligan's Command. But we definitely can. Shatter Shock, I think, again. Where is the Shatter Shock mode? There we go. Shatter Shock. So yeah, then 1, 2, 3, 4. So then Bedlam Mardu costs 4. Oh! Look at this! Well, this is bad. But we can use it to discard Lingering Souls, I guess. Oh, we should have just played that land, right? Doesn't matter. I think our affinity matchup is absurd, and even though I made a few mistakes in that match, it didn't matter. In the grand scheme of things. Obviously, always the goal is to play better, don't make mistakes. Doesn't matter if you win or lose, just don't make mistakes. But, yeah, okay. Blood Moon seemed pretty good there. Maybe it's better than I think. Oh well, that was match 3. Let's go and get into match 4.